Hi everyone! So I have an orthodontist appointment coming up soon, and that gave me the idea to talk about my experience of having braces as an adult. I have a lot to say about braces, so this is probably going to be a 2 or 3 part video. So in this video, I'm mostly going to talk about the process that I went through before I got my braces put on. So as you can see, I don't have any braces on right now. I had them removed just over a year ago, and right now I'm just wearing retainers at night. And I had my braces on for about 2 years and 4 months. So I had wanted to get braces for a really long time because I was not happy with my teeth. Most people said they didn't even notice that they were crooked, but it really bothered me. I decided to go to an orthodontist office for a consultation, but I didn't get a very good feeling from the place. I think they would have done an okay job, but they didn't seem very friendly. So a while later, I was talking to a girl from my work, and she had just gotten her braces off, and she recommended her orthodontist. So I went to him for a consultation, and I liked the way that things went, so I started the process of getting my braces. So I was given 2 options to fix my teeth. So the first option involved getting my bottom premolars removed, and then sending me to a hospital where they could surgically break my jaw and move it forward. The second option was to have my premolars on the top removed, and then when I went into the orthodontist, they would put an appliance on the roof of my mouth that would hold my molars back. So I decided to go with the second option because it was $1,500 cheaper and meant that I didn't have to have surgery. So the first option would have fixed everything properly. The option that I chose just kind of made everything work with the way that it was already without having to break my jaw. So the option that I chose fixed everything, except that my bottom jaw is slightly further back than it should be. And when I say slightly further back, I mean by like millimeters. It's not really that noticeable. There are times that I think that, oh, it would have been nice to go with the first option and get everything fixed properly. But when I think about the fact that I would have had to pay more money and get surgery done, it just wasn't worth it for me. So after I decided which option was best for me, I had to go get an x-ray and some dental impressions done. So the x-ray was super easy. They just had me stand in this device and just kind of position my head properly, and then the machine just went around my head, so it wasn't that difficult or anything. The dental impressions though, those were probably one of the worst parts of the whole process for me. So for the impressions, what they're doing is they're taking a mold of your mouth. So they have these little trays that they fill with a stuff called alginate, and they put it over your teeth and it stays in there for a few moments, and then they take it out, and that's what they make a model of your mouth with. And they use that model to decide what they're going to do with your teeth and how they're going to place everything in your mouth. And when I was done, they took me over to a sink and they let me rinse out my mouth and pick out all the extra pieces of alginate that were stuck in there. And they also got stuck to my lip, and I had a hard time washing that off. And I even remember after I left, I was still picking pieces out of my teeth. That stuff gets stuck everywhere. So then a little while after that, I had to go get my teeth pulled. I was really not happy about getting my teeth pulled, but everything went really well, and my dentist did a really good job of freezing me, so I didn't feel a thing. Also, I had laughing gas. Laughing gas made things better. And in terms of pain, I didn't really have any until like the next day or so, when I had to take some painkillers. And after I had my teeth pulled, I had to wait a little while for my mouth to heal before they could do anything else. So after a few weeks, I went back to my orthodontist and I had some spacers put in. So spacers are just these really tiny elastics that they stretch and just put between your molars. And they do this because the appliance I was having installed had these rings that needed to slide over my molars, so they needed to stretch them apart to make room for that to fit in. It didn't hurt when I had them put in, but you definitely feel a little bit of pressure, and they stuck out just enough that I could chew on them, and I found that I would chew on them a lot. Chewing on it seemed to make the irritation both better and worse at the same time. And when I had them taken out, they said that I had almost chewed right through them. So I think that's going to be about it for my braces story in this video. But before I go, I thought I'd mention some things that I wish I had known before I got braces. So when I went to get my braces put on, it took a long time. So I recommend wearing something really comfortable. And I also get cold really easily, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is. In the winter, I'm basically just always cold, and in the summer, every time I go into a building, I freeze because the air conditioning is so strong. So if you're like me, I recommend wearing layers just so that you can be warm enough. Also, my office has a rule that if it's snowing outside, we have to take our boots off when we come into the building. If you live where it snows and you have to take your boots off before you go in, I recommend getting some slipper boots. So these are my slipper boots, and I wear them all the time. They are super comfortable. And I got these at Ardennes for about $14. You should also make sure that you have some painkillers, because after each appointment, you're probably going to be sore for the next day or two. As for food, braces limit the amount of items that you can choose from, so be prepared for that. So before I got my braces put on, my orthodontist gave me a sheet of paper that had a list of foods that I couldn't eat. So if you're not sure about what kind of food you should get before you get your braces, ask your orthodontist. So when I first got my braces, I also had this blue cement on 2 of my bottom molars, which meant that I couldn't touch my teeth together. As you might guess, that made things a little bit difficult when I was eating. I wasn't really able to chew anything, so for a while I was mostly just eating things like applesauce and mashed potatoes and pudding. So just keep in mind that your mouth is probably going to be sore for a few days and you're going to have limitations on what you can eat. So just remember that when you're getting your groceries. It's a good idea to stock up on lots of soft foods. Another thing that your orthodontist might give you is dental wax. Dental wax is a lifesaver when your mouth is getting irritated. So the trick with dental wax is to make sure that the area that you're applying it to is dry before you put it on. If you don't dry it first, it'll probably just pop right off. Okay, and just a few other small things that you should know. One thing that I didn't know before I got braces is that they do x-rays every once in a while just to check on the progress. Another thing is that sometimes they will bring you to the chair so that you can see the orthodontist, and you'll be waiting there for like 10, 15, sometimes even 20 minutes. It just depends on how busy the orthodontist is that day and what kind of problems they have to deal with. So having something with you for entertainment is a good idea. I would just bring my phone with me and just use the office's Wi-Fi to watch YouTube or just go on Reddit. Another thing is that I had to get dental impressions done a few more times after I had my braces put on. The first impressions are the worst ones just because they're really big, and when they do the first ones, they're doing an impression of basically your whole mouth. The next few times I got them done, they weren't that bad at all. So that's it for today. I hope that if any of you are thinking about getting braces, that I gave you some idea of what to expect, especially if you're an adult. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.